And the biggest takeaway is sort of that we can't fully understand like what their like ideas are, but at the same time, like especially with North Korea, everything sort of plays into their narrative of survival is the most important thing, and sort of their narrative of the threat of the United States looming over them.
And so Kim Il-sung was like, he was worshipped by his people, and it doesn't seem like he was very oppressive. Like, he was very harsh, kind of, but he wasn't, like, hard on his people. And then this next one, his son, Kim Jong-il, was, like, a failure. Like, he was caused a famine. He obviously was not very good at economics. Maybe he should have been trained a little bit before. And then the current one, Kim Jong-un, he is not really seems to be very fond of his father's ways, because he, killed or got rid of his, like, advisors and people that were with him during the regime. And he very seems to want to kind of follow in the path of his grandfather. As we saw before, he was very like, I want to look like my grandfather, I want to be very much like seen like my grandfather, but he's definitely a much harsher and more corrupt of sorts version of the grandfather.
So basically, they started like talking about nuclear weapons in the 1960s, and they wanted help from Russia, and Russia wouldn't give it to them. Really, nobody would. And so eventually, in the 80s and the 90s, Pakistan gave them the material to create their nuclear program, but nobody knew about that until the early 2000s. And after that, it was just, they've had like 5 nuclear tests, and then they've shot off like 5 ballistic missiles since then, all done underground, but it's just like on and off with testing and joining treaties and then getting rid of treaties and not really sticking to anything. We don't know what the plan is.
So we found out that coal exports generate more than $1 billion in annual revenue for North Korea, and the majority of their exports are purchased by Chinese companies, and 95% of North Korea's foreign currency earnings generated from coal exports are put towards their military and nuclear weapons program. So China is kind of indirectly funding North Korea's weapons program, and then just recently the UN Security Council voted to ban all coal sales in an effort to choke off funding for Kim Jong-un's weapons program.